So Roosevelt's a great client for us. We do a ton of work with them. We're both wearing our pattern Lincoln shirts.
They're comfy too.
Yeah, super comfy. Great shirts. If you guys haven't checked them out, jump online, check it out. They reach out to us for a ton of different patterns. A lot of their stuff is a little bit more tiled out, but it is done in Photoshop. But they do have like this square grid where Damaso and Brandon will do this illustration that is then cropped basically with this large bleed to this square so that when they get it, they can tile it themselves.
That's like the old school way.
Yeah. So because it's a Photoshop file and it's so heavy, it kind of has to be done like that. And then these guys are printing on like big rolls of basically, materials. So it's like almost a big, large format digital print, So they're just looking for this pattern that can go, whatever it is, say 50 inches wide by 400 long, on this roll. So, and then they'll come back and cut out all the pieces and it's full custom cutting. So, but these are great. We've had the opportunity to work on so many different properties and different things.
Yeah, they've got some cool licenses. For sure.
Like even on this page, the top left is Lincoln. So they wanted a Lincoln pattern, which, made sense for us.
Is that your the koozies?
Yeah. So here's koozie. So they make these bitchin' koozies as well. And then they have, so this is the Lincoln pattern. This is the Lincoln pattern we did for them. So this, so a pattern like this too, the way Brandon will do it, this is actually two different patterns. So there's the dark red underneath, which is actually logs and shit that he drew, one color. And then on top, he did all the little pieces. So then they can move everything around, kind of determine what fits and what doesn't fit. And then they make sure like that on the pocket, like it's not just random.
Right.
Like, they'll make sure that on the pocket, like something.
It's a good crop.
Yeah, something good is there.
Yep.
So.
Not just random.
Yeah.
Cut off heads.
Yeah, because if you can't control that, a lot of companies they'll crop whatever in the pocket. You'll get a shirt that looks bitchin', another one that has some weird shit.
Totally.
Half cut off. So.
Yep.
So on this page we have the Lincoln. They did a whole USA kind of kit, which actually that one is from there. We'll get to that at the end because that's got a little story that goes with that. But that was from the USA 4th of July kit we did for them. And then the two on the right are Back to the Future. So those were rad.
Super cool.
Yeah, those are all custom little illustrations that Damaso did.
That's
pretty
cool
gnarly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Each one is basically its own t-shirt.
Yeah.
And
each piece.
Yeah, each piece.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I'll show a little more detail on those. And
it's cool because these tees, they do hold up the quality and print very well. Like the detail on some of these are pretty crazy.
Yeah. No fading or anything really. Like it's a legit product.
Yeah.
And then so for this Christmas we had the chance to do this one. This is the banger.
Christmas Vacation, baby.
Christmas Vacation. You can't go wrong with this.
Classic.
So this one, we have this one here. So Damaso did all this, fully painted in Photoshop. This is a good one.
Yep.
Don't you have a mug with
Timeless.
this on it?
Yep.
You got the mug with the
shitter was full.
Yeah, the shitter's full, right? That's on here somewhere.
Yep.
And he's pumping it.
Yep.
Pumping it there. So, yeah. This is where it's cool because every project we do for them, it's like usually a new property or just the idea.
New license.
Like, yeah. It's kind of like, oh shit, that's great.
Yep. Keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another one. So this is Sandlot, the movie Sandlot. So another Damaso piece, fully illustrated. This was more of a poster print that they wanted. And then from that, we built out the pattern. And then here's a recent one that actually just came out. It just dropped yesterday. So Goonies, can't go wrong with Goonies.
Love the Goonies.
Even especially being up here in the Northwest, and it was shot out in Astoria, and the house is out there. Just a classic movie. They have a lot of movie license, so getting like some of these projects, like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. So this was Brandon. You can see on this piece, the pencil sketch on the left is the character art, and then the pencil sketch on the right is basically the dark gray background pattern. Similar to this Lincoln one back here. It was basically 2 layers of pattern, So you can almost say twice the illustration, work. But yeah, it turned out good. Fully kind of airbrushed, sketched in Photoshop, and then Here's a detailed shot of those illustrations. The thing that gets weird with these when you're dealing with like the movie properties is this has to go back to the studio.
Oh yeah, and get approved by
yeah,
them.
they need to approve it. They need to approve the character likeness and all that. So some of these can drag on. Some of them you'll get some weird notes back like, hey, you need to change this.
Yep.
We did one for The Shining where we couldn't show like Jack Nicholson's face, and so we couldn't really show anybody's face, but they wanted
it down a little bit.
Yeah, they wanted to suggest the whole scene, you
right?
know? So Brandon's like struggling with how much face is too much, you know, and just these heavy shadows covering the guy's face. So that can be a challenge when dealing with, you know, the movie industry and just people's, you know, photography and things like that. So and here's their marketing for the Goonies collection. And then, so back to this one. So this, like I said, was part of the American, it was like USA 4th of July kit that we did for him. It was 3 different patterns. One of them being, well, it was this like eagle pattern. The other one being Teddy Roosevelt, and then this one. And so like you see here, this was kind of cool because they made the shirt, which is back there. You know, so those two bad boys are from the USA kit. So they made this shirt, and then not too long later, we saw a couple photos of LeBron James wearing a face mask with that pattern on it, and we're like, "Oh shit, that's cool."
LeBron.
You gotta love that.
Yeah.
So.
Just scrolling through the gram, you're like, "Whoa, that's us!" On his face.
Yeah, that's sick.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's always cool to see your stuff, you know, out there on a celebrity or whatever.
Totally.
And then it's cool when they blow it out with a koozie and all that. So like these koozies are amazing.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. And then here at the end, here we have just some other ones we did for them. The Shining is down on the left. WWE, a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then we get fun stuff like The Office. We've done a couple patterns for The Office, so those are fun. And then Step Brothers and Damaso's doing all these with the full Photoshop illustrations. So yeah, it's kind of it, you know, on the patterns. It's kind of, we handle them kind of almost as 2 different projects, 2 different processes. You know, the stuff that you do is definitely more traditional pattern work and, you know, is very, very much what people expect, you know, when they get a pattern, which is great. Where this stuff, you
industry standard.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so where this stuff is, to me, I handle it as, you know, as the project manager and stuff like that. It's more like a big illustration in a way, you know, and that's how these guys have to handle it.
Yeah.
So, but it ends up getting used as a pattern, you know, whether it's on a hat or a koozie or a button up, you know, whatever. In the end, it is a pattern, you know. So
one piece.
So, you know, we've gotten a lot of people asking in the past, like, how would you create that? How would you do a pattern like that? And, you know, there's no easy way to do it when dealing with this. It's just all illustration. You know, you got to be able to do that illustration.
Exactly.
You can't create that pattern, you know. And even with your stuff, I mean, it's not, your stuff to me is, like I said, it's so useful. That to me is like your pattern. That's exactly what you want as a company when you think pattern. You know, you want something that you can get that file, you can grab that swatch, you can click and fill.
Scale it, you know, whatever. Yep.
Yeah. So